Napoleon Hill taught that the thoughts you plant upon waking are like seeds capable of shaping everything that will follow. The words you speak to yourself and to God in the first minutes of the morning set the tone for your mind. Your mind guides your actions, and your actions build your destiny. That's why what I'm about to share can transform not only your day, but the entire course of your life. There is a key that most people ignore when they wake up. A key so simple that you can use it as soon as tomorrow, yet so powerful that when applied with faith and purpose, it opens doors where there once were only walls. That key is the right prayer, spoken at the very moment you take your first conscious breath of the day. Unfortunately, most people waste this sacred moment. They wake up complaining, reliving hurts, or worrying about problems. Without realizing it, they're programming their day to fail before even getting out of bed. But you can reverse this pattern. The fastest and most powerful way to do so is to connect immediately with the source of all provision, God. Upon waking, before looking at your phone or clinging to your worries, open your mouth and declare words of life, abundance, and divine favor. Declare with certainty that when your words align with faith and purpose, the entire universe begins to move in your favor. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and affirm in your mind, "Today I walk with God. Nothing separates me from what He has reserved for me. Today I receive the right ideas, the right opportunities, and meet the right people. Today my destiny begins to change." This is not just praying, it is giving a spiritual and mental command that sets your life in motion. And when you repeat this command every day with conviction, you create a force so intense it feels supernatural. But it's not magic, it's the very law of life working in your favor. When you wake up, your mind is like fertile soil, ready to receive seeds. What you plant in that moment can shape your entire day and even alter the course of your story. So when you open your eyes, close them again for a few seconds. Breathe deeply 3 times. 1. On the first, release the weight of yesterday. 2. On the second, let go of all fear. 3. On the third, feel the presence of God filling you completely. Then declare with faith, "Lord, today I place every step, every decision, and every encounter in your hands. Open the right doors, close the wrong ones, and guide me with clarity. Place before me only what leads me to the purpose you have prepared for my life." As you speak, visualize solutions arising, opportunities appearing, and the right people drawing near. Imagine it as if it were already happening. Napoleon Hill said that the secret of achievement lies in mentally seeing what you desire before it exists in the physical world. Prayer is the most powerful tool for this. Now, write this phrase: "God, guide my steps and open the right path for me." This is your declaration recorded before God and the angels, signaling that you are ready to receive the direction and opportunities He has prepared. Morning prayer is not just a beautiful act of faith, it is a divine strategy to align your mind and spirit with the right opportunities. Napoleon Hill used to say, "A thought charged with emotion and repeated consistently becomes a plan. And a plan, when put into action, can change destinies." After you pray, don't return to autopilot. Stay in silence for a few minutes, feeling the certainty that God has already begun to move the pieces in your favor. This is not simple optimism. It is active faith. It is the decision to live as someone who has already received the answer. Take a notebook and write down 3 things. 1. What you most desire God to do for you today. 2. A concrete action you can take to cooperate with that blessing. 3. A short phrase that will be your reminder of power throughout the day. For example, "God is opening the right path for me now." And whenever doubt tries to invade, repeat that phrase. In this way, you reinforce the message in your subconscious and keep your spirit connected to what you asked for. Remember, praying is asking, but living as someone who has already received is what opens doors. That is how you build a day where everything conspires for the best. Take a deep breath and feel. The air you inhale is not just oxygen, but the living presence of God filling every space in your soul. As you breathe in, realize that fear, anxiety, and insecurity are leaving, and you are becoming new. Now speak to Him as one speaks to a Father who has never failed. Lord, in this moment, I renounce every thought that limits me and embrace only what strengthens me. Erase the marks of yesterday and write with your own hands the perfect chapter for today. Open the doors that lead me to my mission and firmly close all those that take me away from it. Send into my life people who add, words that heal, and opportunities that uplift. Turn into light what is still shadow, into strength what is still weakness, and into faith what is still doubt. May my steps be guided by your purpose, and may my mind recognize only possibilities. Today, I choose to live as someone who has already received. Today, I choose to trust. Today, I walk with you. Now remain in silence for a few moments and feel the energy of this declaration flowing through your entire body. Understand, you are not just repeating words. You are imprinting new codes into your mind, programming your faith to work in your favor, and activating a spiritual order that echoes in heaven and will not return empty. Imagine this with me. You woke up, prayed, felt God's presence, declared your words, and opened your mind to a new day. But out there, the world doesn't always cooperate immediately. Problems arise, unexpected events happen, and people try to steal your peace. This is the point where many get lost. They forget what they placed in God's hands and return to their old ways of acting. But today, you are going to do things differently. Every challenge will be treated as a reminder to strengthen your faith, not to give it up. When something slips out of your control, instead of complaining or despairing, take a deep breath and repeat mentally, I have already given it to God. He is in control. This phrase is an anchor that prevents your mind from returning to fear. Napoleon Hill said that circumstances are shaped by mental persistence. When you keep your focus on what you asked for, even in the middle of the storm, you prove to the universe and to yourself that you are ready to receive. In this way, every obstacle becomes part of the path, not a barrier. Prayer does not end when you open your eyes. It remains alive in every attitude, word, and decision throughout the day. Walk, speak, and act as someone who is already living the destiny you asked God for. This magnetic posture attracts the right people, the right resources, and the right opportunities that were simply waiting for your firmness. Now reflect. How many days of your life have you started on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts, the same actions, and harvesting the same results? This is the cycle that keeps millions of people trapped in a destiny they never consciously chose. And it is precisely this cycle that your morning prayer comes to break, provided it is not treated as an empty ritual, but as a conscious decision to take control of your story. Morning prayer is like the command of a captain when setting sail. It sets the course before the wind blows. But a good captain does not just release the sails and wait for the tide. He constantly adjusts the course until he reaches his destination. That is what you must understand. Every moment of the day, you either reinforce or cancel the direction chosen in the morning. Napoleon Hill compared the mind to a radio station, always transmitting and receiving signals. When you pray in the morning, you emit a frequency of faith, clarity, and purpose. But if, throughout the day, you let yourself be carried away by complaints, pessimism, and doubt, you change the station and begin to tune into scarcity, fear, and delay. That is why many pray and see no change, because they do not sustain the frequency. And sustaining that frequency requires discipline. It is guarding your thoughts as a watchman protects the walls of a city. Whenever a negative thought arises, ask, does this bring me closer to or further from what I asked God for? If it takes you away, eliminate it and replace it with a thought aligned with what you desire. This is not just spirituality, it is a high-performance mental strategy. Every time you maintain the prayer's frequency, even in the face of difficulties, you send a clear message not only to God, but also to your subconscious. I believe, and I will not turn back. And when faith and conviction unite, the world around you begins to reorganize to fulfill what you have declared. But understand something profound. Your destiny does not change just when you ask. It changes when you live as someone who has already received. This is where many stumble. They pray in the morning, but spend the day feeding thoughts that cancel what they just declared. The secret is to keep the state of faith active. This means aligning every word, every action, and even your silence with the certainty that God is already in control. Napoleon Hill said that persistence is the true test of faith. Believing for 5 minutes is easy. The challenge is sustaining faith when nothing seems to change. That is why, starting today, create a second layer in your reprogramming: faith reminders. Whenever you feel anxiety, irritation, or doubt, close your eyes for a few seconds, take a deep breath and repeat quietly, I have already given it, and God is already working. Visualize the pieces moving in the unseen, as if every detail were being adjusted by divine hands, and watch the words that come out of your mouth because they are seeds. When you say, it's hard, you plant difficulty. When you say, I don't see a way out, you plant blockage. But when you declare, God is opening paths for me, you sow the road you're going to walk on. This discipline, repeated day after day, will reprogram your subconscious. Your mind will stop sabotaging you, your spirit will stop wavering, and your life will begin to align with the promise you declared at dawn. I want you to understand something now that can accelerate in an extraordinary way everything you have been asking God for. Faith without action is like a seed kept inside a jar. It will never bloom. When you pray in the morning, you are planting in the invisible ground. But it is the action you take afterward that waters this seed until it breaks through the soil and becomes visible. And I'm not talking about acting just anyway. I'm talking about acting with intention, like someone who has already received the answer. If you asked for clarity, move as someone who already knows the way. If you asked for prosperity, work as someone who already manages a great blessing. If you asked for healing, take care of yourself as someone who is already healthy. This posture does not fool God. It convinces your mind, and a convinced mind is capable of moving mountains. Napoleon Hill called this applied faith. It is not waiting for everything to fall from the sky, but creating the conditions so that what comes from heaven finds space in your life. It is aligning your behavior with your request. This changes the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you decide. And when this happens, people notice something different about you. That's when opportunities that once went unnoticed begin to draw near. That's why, after your morning prayer, choose an action, even a small one, that is aligned with what you asked for. If you asked for open doors at work, send the message you've been postponing. If you asked for reconciliation, take the first step with humility. If you asked for new opportunities, research, apply, move. God does not bless inertia. He honors the movement of those who believe. And when you move with faith and purpose, you don't just attract what you asked for, you become the person ready to receive it. Now stop for a moment, look within yourself, remember what you asked for this morning, and feel again the presence you invoked when you woke up. Imagine that God is looking at you right now, waiting to see if you truly believe or if your words were just sound. Here's the truth. Heaven responds faster to those who keep their posture after prayer. Many ask, but few continue speaking and acting as if they've already received. That's why so many don't see change. But you won't be like most. You will be the one who keeps the flame alive until the very last second of the day. Now visualize your request answered. See yourself smiling, living the victory, feeling the freedom, and create a code of faith to sustain your mind throughout the day. It can be, what is mine is already on the way. The right door is already open. Every time fear tries to creep in, repeat this phrase as a command sent to heaven. Napoleon Hill said that persistence is the ultimate proof of worthiness. God doesn't give what you ask for just once. He gives what you ask, sustain, and live every single day. The prayer you made this morning will not die on the pillow. It will echo in every step, every choice, every word of yours. And when you least expect it, the answer will be before you. Then you'll understand that nothing was by chance. Now imagine with me, your life up to today has been like a hallway with many doors. Some you opened, others remained closed, and many you didn't even realize existed. Morning prayer is not just a beautiful phrase. It is the key that begins unlocking the doors God prepared for you from the very beginning. But pay attention. God doesn't give this key to those who will leave it forgotten in a drawer. He places it in the hands of those who are willing to use it every day with faith, purpose, and action. That's why, from now on, you won't just pray and wait. You will live as someone standing before those doors, ready to turn the handle as soon as you hear the click of providence. The greatest mistake of those seeking change is to believe that prayer is the end of the process, when in fact it is the beginning of construction. Prayer is the first brick upon which you build your attitudes, your choices, and your posture. This is how faith stops being just a feeling and becomes a practical force that transforms reality. Today, as you walk, work, or talk, keep this phrase within you. I am already walking the path God prepared for me. This is not just a positive affirmation. It is a spiritual decree. And each time you repeat it, your mind, your heart, and even your circumstances align with what you declared at dawn. But stay alert. When that door opens, it may not look the way you imagined. It may come disguised as a simple opportunity, an unexpected meeting, or even a challenge that secretly carries the solution you were seeking. That's why you must remain awake. Those who pray and remain awake see what others overlook. Now close your eyes and feel what I'm going to tell you. What you asked God for is not lost. It was not forgotten. It was not ignored. The moment you spoke those words upon waking, something began to move in the spiritual realm. Invisible chains were broken. Paths began to align. People began to be directed toward you. There is a secret few understand. God acts, but He also observes. He watches to see if you keep walking with the same faith as in the first moment, if you hold firm in the waiting, and if you act as someone who truly believes in what you declared. It is this consistency that transforms today's prayer into tomorrow's testimony. I want you to imagine from now on that every step of yours is being guided by a firm and steady hand. Nothing in your journey will be by chance. Every encounter, every door that opens, every apparent obstacle, everything is part of a perfect design. Even the curves in the road have purpose. And when the answer arrives, because it will arrive, you will look back and realize that God not only heard your request, He was shaping you to be ready to receive it. That is the difference between those who simply pray and those who pray, believe, and walk. So rise today with this certainty. Your destiny has already begun to change. You are no longer in the same place as yesterday. What is yours is already coming your way. And no one, absolutely no one, can stop what God Himself has decided to release over your life. Now declare as a seal over this moment. Today, I walk in the purpose and the victory that God has prepared for me. Go through your day with the confidence of someone who knows that all of heaven is working in their favor. If this message touched your heart, share it, like it, and stay connected to faith. Thank you so much for accompanying me this far. May God bless your life abundantly. Stay in peace, stay with God, and until we meet again.